Yo, what's up, guys? It's me, Loop12 here, and today we're gonna be doing something interesting. So, with every day that goes by, I'm gonna try and be releasing some daily content. I will try and do some live streams, I will try and do some recorded content, and basically, what we're gonna be doing is going from zero to hero with web development. Basically starting with HTML and CSS and JavaScript and moving along to React, Node, and Express. Basically building from a front end perspective all the way back to creating our own server using APIs. And eventually, I really am trying to get into Solidity and building on Ethereum and Nervous Network. So hopefully within 100 days, we're gonna be pros. Now I'm gonna be going interestingly, alright? So I really hope that you guys will catch up if you guys want to follow along. And yeah, I'm gonna try and do quick, snazzy, educational videos. Yeah, so let's get this party started. So in order for us to be Gucci together, you guys want to make sure you guys download Visual Studio Code. You guys can find it right here. Just make sure you download it. At the same time, get yourself Git, so then you guys are able to get the Git GUI or the Git Bash. And once you guys have set that up, just make sure you guys have a folder set up. I'll create a whole new folder just so I can start fresh with you guys. I'm basically gonna, the way I'm gonna try and do this is, first off, we're gonna be going over basically HTML, GitHub, and CSS for like these next couple of days. And basically after that, I'm gonna be moving on to JavaScript, and React, and then after that, like pretty much Express and whatever. And hopefully by the time, like, I don't know, end of the month, we are able to build a full application. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna try and make some cool basically apps and web pages, and there's just so much I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna try and share my knowledge with you guys. So whoever wants to start off or whoever wants to do anything, they are feel free to follow along. So basically how we're gonna get started is well, I'm gonna talk to you guys about HTML and basically the cool parts about HTML, I guess. We're gonna be building a HTML web page. So let's get this started. So open up your terminal. Let's create a folder. I'm gonna call this I don't know. Let's call this the VR. Nah. I'm gonna call this. Let's create a like a future D app application website blog thing, I guess. What do you guys say? You guys think that's gonna be cool? Cool. So let's call this goat token app, or let's call this goat token. Cool. I don't know. Let's go change our directory to goat token. And let's open it up with Visual Studio. Oh, before we open up with Visual Studio Code, let's create our index.html. And then I guess we'll add in files when we will need it, because I know I wanna create like a blog post page just so we can practice with our HTML semantics. Awesome. I'm not going to really go too far into depth with HTML5. I'm sure if you guys are trying to learn HTML, like there's a lot of like other tutorials, but I'm just going to try and get through the gist of things, and explain it on the way. So you just want to start it off HTML. Start off with your doc type. You always want to start off your HTML web. You always want to start your HTML document with the doc type HTML. You want to get in your HTML. You know, I'm just gonna do it from from scratch. If you guys want, you guys can do the exclamation point, and then you guys will get this whole thing of code. But if you guys don't know what the heck that is, let's do it together. So with every HTML document, you want to add in the exclamation point, doc type, and call this HTML. After that, you want to create your HTML tags. Oops. Dang, I messed it up already. So you want to create your HTML tags, basically telling the website that this is going to be an HTML document. And with every HTML document, there's a head and there's a body. Inside of the head, we can add whatever we want: metadata, titles, links to scripts, links to CSS. In this case, we're just going to create a title for our document, and what is this going to be called? Goat token. You can call this whatever you want. I'm just calling this goat token. Now, after that, we can write whatever we want. So let's just write hello world, just like that. And if you guys have VS Code, all you want to do is just click on the little go live button over here, and boom, you guys can see. I'm just gonna make this so it's half and half. Actually, I'm just gonna go like that. So boom, half and half, just like that. Very cool, right? Now, HTML comes with is a markup language. It's not so much of a programming language. It's a markup language. Basically, you're able to wrap these two words, or you are able to wrap any type of word or whatever you want on the web page with between elements. So in this case, let's wrap our hello world into an h1 tag. And you guys can see that the web page automatically gives us some nice styles that by default is on every web browser. Now in HTML, this h1 tag represents the heading. Just like when you write an essay or when you write up a document, how the teacher or whoever you're writing to tells you need to have a heading in order to tell the people what your essay is about, just like your web page. When we write, we only want to put important content inside of our h1. And this goes all the way down to like our h2. So if we do an h2 of a hello world, you can see that it's going to be a little bit smaller. Now, these headings go all the way down to these headings go all the way down to 6. So there can be 6 of these headings, and every time it gets lower, they become smaller. You guys can see H1 is the biggest, H6 is the smallest, and I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I don't understand why there's so many cops out today. I guess they're going through a routine check or something, or I think that's the ambulance. Anyways, you want to make sure that you keep at least one H1 tag on your page, just cause for search engine optimization, it will be gathering the most important, or whatever you want. Just make sure that your H1 tag has the most important content inside of it. As well as, if you want, I usually go with an H2 tag to identify like sections of my content, H3 tags for like other types of content, etc., etc. But I'll show you guys something really cool. So with every web page, we're gonna be I like to try and go with an HTML5 type of syntax. So what that means is that we will have to include a header. I'll just write some content in here. I am a header. I'd like to incorporate a main. I am the main content on the page, and then a footer. I am the bottom content of the page. And as you guys can see, it looks very ugly, but you can see there's little spaces in between. And if we actually inspect this content right now, this kind of pops up on the other side of my page. I really like to use the Mozilla developer browser, just cause like it really like shows you a lot. So if we just hover over this content, you guys can see there's like little spaces, and even like over here there's little spaces inside of our layout. Or if we just click on the body or HTML, I'm surprised this doesn't show any styles, but you guys can see that this header element has like a little bit of actually nothing. Wow. Well, you guys can see there's a little bit of spacing, and that it's not all clumped up together. It's on a separate line. It's because these elements right here, they represent block data. If we wanted to like have it all on one line, we would have to actually style that. Or there are also these types of tools, or these types of elements called span tags. So a span, if I go like that, and instead of like, if I go even on a separate line and I do a span tag like this, I am more content. You guys can see that it's going to be right next to each other. I basically use this for styling. But enough talk about that. Let's just continue. So this is basically going to be our basic structure of our header, of our website. Now, within our header, we're not going to also, I forgot to also mention, we're not going to add in any styles in today. We're going to add in styles tomorrow. But anyways, so inside of our header, what do you normally see inside of a header? Well, sometimes inside of our header, there's a logo. So in this case, we can add in an image. We can also add in just some type of content. So in this case, I like to wrap around an H1 and this is basically going to be our logo. So we can say go to token, and basically the web engine is going to be searching up. It's just really good for optimization. I usually like to keep an H1, as this is the main like element that I want people to notice. And then after that, there's usually some type of navigation on a web page, correct? So let's create our nav bar. So usually you want to wrap your elements inside of this nav tag. Why? Just so it's going to be easier for imperial readers to be able to understand what's on your content, as well as for styling your content. It's going to be easier, and just for anyone else that's going to be reading your code, they'll understand that, oh, this nav tag means navigation. And at the same time, inside of our nav tag, I usually like to create a list. So in order for us to create a list, oh crap cakes. Inside of our nav tag, I usually like to create a list to signify that these are going to be navigational items, or the links on our webpage. I like to create a list to wrap our items that are going to be our links inside of a list for structure wise. And in order for us to be able to continue this, inside of our UL, which means unorganized list, I want to create an LI, which is our list item. And let me just indent this to make it better. And inside of our list item, I want to create an anchor element, and let's make this home. And inside every anchor element, we want to create an href, or we want to add in the href attribute. And for now, we're just going to put a pound sign to it. And let's create another list item, and let's have another link. This is going to be another pound sign, and let this be a blog. And let's create another list item, and let this be another anchor element with another href. And let this be contact us, or I guess our website can have a contact us. Sweet. Looks really cool, right? Now let's save this, and this is what we get. It looks really ugly, but that's where the styling is gonna come in. Now, I've seen some people have just anchor elements inside of a nav tag. So let me just show you how. Oh, crap cakes. I'm just gonna show you how that looks like. So instead of doing all of this, they would usually just go like that, oh, and just like put in some elements like that. Now that's perfectly fine too. That's perfectly fine too. I'm not gonna lie, that's perfectly fine, but I don't know. That's just not the way I usually do things. But hey, there are different ways of styling your words on a web page. Am I right? So I'm just gonna, hey, I'm gonna go with this way for now. So inside of our nav tag, you can see we have some anchor elements that lead to nowhere. And these are all home, so let's just change this again. So this is gonna be our about and contact. Sweet. Now we basically completed our header. We have an H1, basically this is gonna be our logo, and then we have a nav element that holds anchor elements inside, and which each anchor element, it's going to be leading us to different parts on our website, or different parts to a website off our website, or even just different sections inside of our website, which is cool, I guess. Oh, let me just change this to blog instead, or let me add in another one, and this is going to be our blog. There we go. Now we can move on. So inside of our actually I want to talk to you guys about something else. So you guys see how HTML5 provides us with these elements. There's also other elements that we can use, which is a div. Now div is basically an element that can hold any type of content inside of it. It doesn't have too much meaning on the HTML website, but this is good for styling, and eventually we will have to style. You can normally see our hero, like a hero object inside of this HTML tag, or like anything. So in this case, I guess, oh no, I guess we will have to put some type of styles in it, but we'll do that later. For now, inside of this div, we're going to be adding an image. So in order for us to create an image, we use this image element, and if we press save, we don't get anything because we need to add in some attributes in order for this image to actually be cool, you know? So if we if we add in the source image, I mean the source attribute, and let's just look for an image online. So let's just search up goat token and see what we can find, what kind of images we can find. Wow, there is actually some type of goat token image. I mean, there's, alright, this looks pretty cool. So if we want, let's just okay, where is this? Okay, let me just go like that. Oh, I'm gonna open this link in a new tab. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna open up this image tag. So open image in a new tab, and you guys can see we get this goat image. I'm just gonna copy this tag, make this small again, close out of this, go back to our website, and inside of our source tag, I'm just gonna paste that image in there. And before you, oh, what's this? Our image is not showing. Alright, I guess let's look for another image. Damn. That's sad. I guess it's copyright, maybe? I honestly don't know. Let's see. This one? Nah. This one? Nah. We want to have a cool banner image, letting people know that this is some type of cool goat. Alright, let's just look for a goat. A cool goat. Alright, this looks like a too cool of a go. The background image is eh. This one. This was a cool go, right? So if we open this image in a new tab and we just copy this link, exit out, inside of our source, paste that in there. Cool, and let's go, and boom, we have a picture of a go on our webpage. Very cool. At the same time, what you should do with best practice is also have an alt attribute. Now, this is going to be for if our image does not show on our web page, and because since this is a picture off the internet, and this is not really part of our file system, if the picture gets if this content gets published somewhere else or it gets destroyed or whatever, then it won't be readable anymore. We won't be able to gather that information, so it's going to give us a blank thing, and you guys can see it gave us some weird error. But in this case, if we just give it an alt attribute and say we gotta describe this image, so we're gonna describe this image as a goat sticking out a tongue. Sweet. We just can close that out, and if we just go like that, it's instead of the whole image, it's gonna say goat sticking out tongue, since they can't find an image like that. And at the same time, for visually impaired people, they will be able to understand that since they can't see this image, that this is a picture of a goat sticking out his tongue. And this is basically gonna be our hero. Of course we can add in other content, but we're just gonna keep it simple for today. At the same time, if you guys ever do want to, you guys should be putting some comments in. You guys can do Control/ in order to get this default comment thing, or you guys can just type in, and wow, for me it auto-filled, but yeah, you can just type in hero section. And yeah, the reason why we didn't use the section element is because usually for sections we want to describe it for something else. So, and I'll show you guys that in just a second. So, boom. This is basically our hero image. So now we want to work on our main whatever we're gonna have on our main content. So inside of our main content, we can say limited supply, get your tokens now. And then we can describe, or we can say best token on the Ethereum or Nervos network, and a little description about it. You are able to stake, or staking and farming is coming soon. Be an early pioneer for this token and receive massive results. I don't know. It's just some type of content. You guys can see that we created a heading 2, and we put in this content inside, and below we created another tag holding this content. This tag right here is a P tag, stands for paragraph, and yes, you guessed it, it's basically going to be holding any type of sentences, or yeah, pretty much sentences, paragraphs, words. It doesn't have to just hold sentences, it can hold massive paragraphs. And guess what, guys? Yeah, that's basically it. And after that, let's add in some more content to our main section. So let's say we're gonna have a section. Yes, we're gonna add in a section, and let's give this section called blogs. where we're going to be listing all of the blogs. And within each blog, we're going to have an article element where we're going to be giving an article name. So why get the GOAT token, which is going to have the article title. We're going to give it a short summary, or like the first couple of words. So if we do lorem 10 or lorem 50, it's going to auto-generate 50 words for us. And then let's just give it a link. So check it out. Or read more. Let's get a read more. So boom, we created a section called blogs. We can just also give it another p tag. Check out latest blogs. Read more, and this is gonna make sure we have given it an href. It's gonna lead them to somewhere on our web page. And as you guys can see, it highlights it blue. And let's give it like 3 more articles. So why get the GOAT token? Why built on Nervos network? Excuse me. And will this support goats? Awesome. And that's basically awesome, right? At the same time, you guys can see that we've used sematic HTML5 tags, and we can also use other types of tags, such as check out these. We can do a strong tag, which will give meaning to our checkout, because we want people to really check out our blog or blogs, and you guys can see that it'll make it bold. And let's give another strong tag over here so they can understand that it's coming soon. And we can also give emphasis to our words. So let's give this some emphasis using the EM. Boom. And you guys can see that it makes it emphasis. And at the same time, we can also use these other types of HTML elements, which is going to be like, let's say we want to give this a little element and make the words bold. So if we just do B tag, it will also make it strong. But the difference between a strong tag and a B tag is that this is giving meaning to this word soon. This is giving meaning to the word checkout. Oops. We really want them to check out our latest blogs. We really want them to understand that this is going to happen soon. This is going to be effective on the on the visual impaired people, as well as just letting people understand soon. The B tag, though, this is going to make the content the same thing. You guys can see it makes it bold, but if they're gonna be using that machine reading thing, it's gonna just give it some type of style. At the same time, I forgot the other element. You see, nobody really uses the bold tag, or even I forgot what other tag there is, but I'm not gonna really talk about them. It's more used for style, but if you really want to style things, I usually just like, alright, just put a span tag, and then just give this a type of style. But anyways, let's move on. So we've basically created a section that is telling people about our blogs. We have some articles that we want people to check out. And we can always just make it small like that. And this main section this main element is just talking about our blogs. We can also add in another, should we add in another section? Or we can give it a div. So inside of our main content, we're going to be giving a div, which is again used more so for styling. At the same time, it's just for content that doesn't really have too much meaning. So this is going to be some type of other type of content, which is going to be like you know what, let's just not. I feel like that's enough content. I forgot another type of element that we should use is the aside. So our aside element is gonna be having like things that are gonna happen on the side of our website. And if you guys want, we can just search up MDN and HTML website, or structure of the web element in HTML, and this should give us a nice little image. And also, I just wanted to let you guys know MDN is like a very popular tool. So structure of web site, if we just search that up, you guys will be able to see a nice little image. I'm sorry that I don't have it already prepared for you guys, but oh, there we go. I think it's right here. Header, nope. This one? Nope. This one right here. Header, this is gonna be the aside. Dang, guys, I was not prepared. I know there was an image somewhere that really helped me understand what the aside HTML element meant. Let me just search it up. Aside HTML element. I guess you guys can use it for like this. Again, you know what? Let's not add the aside. I don't really use the aside element. I don't really find it having too much meaning. And yeah, let's just move on to our footer. So you know what the footer usually has. It usually has like the end content. So we can wrap our content in a p tag. And instead of you guys know how you guys add in this, there's a copyright symbol sometimes at the bottom of web page. Yeah, usually you don't want to really do that. You want to just do copy and copy and then do the quotes like the, or how do we do this? And copy, just like that. So this is gonna be like the character that even my VS Code tells me this. It's a character that represents the copyright symbol. So copyright 2022. Wow, the years go by so quick. And let's call this GOAT token. Copyright 2022. And if we go back to our web page, you can see at the bottom of our web page it says copyright GOAT token 2022. You guys can add in anything else, but this is what I'm going to be adding. This is our basic HTML5 website. Looks pretty cool, right? Yeah. At the same time, let's also link more of the section. So let's say, you know, if we click this link, it's going to lead us nowhere. You guys can see on the top of our URL, it really leads us nowhere. Just gives us a nice hashtag on that. But if we create a folder, and let's call this pages, inside of our pages, we're just going to link it to article 1 and just call this article1.html. And let's do the same thing that we did over here. So basically, let's just copy this, and paste it over here. And let's keep this header, let's keep this footer, but let's delete everything inside of our section, or let's delete everything that's inside of our main. And let's get rid of this hero, and let's change the title to, we can just add in the little brackets and say why get the GOAT token, basically signifying that we are linking to our article. And inside of our main, we can create another article element, and inside of our article element we can add in a header. And yeah, you guys can see we can add in more than one header on a web page. And inside this header we're going to add in the title, so why get the GOAT token. We can also add in another element, and this is going to be created by, and let's call ourselves 12. And also let's create another one, another p tag, and this is going to be create or uploaded or created at, let's add in the date, 10/5/22. Now you guys can use I know there's a date element that we can be using in order to explain what this is, because we want to make sure that the date element, I'm so sorry for the rude interruptions I keep getting. Ha ha, my life. Anyways, okay. Let's just go like this. Date element. Oh, there's actually a time element. Well, there's time and date element that we can be using in order to, this is all gonna be good for visually impaired people, but you see, I'm not a pro at HTML5. I'm still a baby and I'm still learning, but it's best practice. It's gonna be best practice for you guys if you guys are trying to be pros to use this time and date. So I guess we can just set this up. So we can wrap this into a time element. And for this time, we want to give it a date time attribute. And we're going to go like this, 22:05 and 10. So now that if a person's going to be reading this with their like screen reader, this will basically let them know that 10/5/22 means that this is a date instead of just numbers. And after that, we can just create content on our page. So, so this section and article elements have different types of not two different types. Alright, whatever. We're going to keep it like that. Short and simple. So now we can create another section inside of our article. And let's give it another. We're going to give it this a heading as to talking about the GOAT token. So why get the GOAT token? So we can do GOAT tokenomics. And then we can have a p tag, or we can wrap this lorem. Let's give it like a nice 50-word explanation about the tokenomics of this token. Dang it. Boom. And let's wrap this in the p tag. Awesome. Let's give it like a little bit more of an explanation because you guys want to be able to explain this a little bit good. And then let's give this another section. We're basically writing an essay, you know, in HTML. How about that? We're going to be using another section element. And for this, we're going to be giving another heading, and it's going to be GOAT tokenomics. Let's see. Well, what else? Why else would we want to get this token? Price, value of GOAT, or the use cases. Use case of GOAT token. And then we want to give it another, we want to wrap our content in a p element. And boom, we basically created a nice article, and we had given it a header. We've created like 2 sections, and we can also create a footer inside of our article, believe it or not. I'm just thinking about what would we put inside of our footer. You know, I'm not gonna put a footer in it this time, but we want to be able to link this. We want to be able to link this HTML file with this HTML file. So, because if we just say, "Oh wow, why get the GOAT token?" I don't know. If we read more, we still can't go over there. So we want to be able to link this. So inside of the double quotes, if we do /, we can go to pages and article. If we press enter, and then when we press read more, it's gonna bring us to the article. Wow, very cool, right guys? You guys can see that it has our header, it has our GOAT token, and also forgot to add in, so inside of our header, if we just put the / inside of this href, and let's save it, this is gonna bring us back to okay, let me refresh. This is inside our index. So if we just put the / inside of our article 1 HTML, this is gonna be bringing us back to the home page. Very cool, right? Anyways, and if we just go back here, you guys can see home, read more, home, read more. And if we just open up the developer tools, if we go to the home, or if we go to the read more, you guys can see if we hover over this, we have the article, we have our header, and all of our sections. And you guys can see in the Mozilla Firefox, it tells us what it is and all that stuff. It's really cool. It's not bad, right? We can add in a few more images, a few more pictures, but I'm not too much about. I'm trying to be better web developer. This is just the way I see things, and yeah, these are the types of tags that I use on a daily basis. We can also create and use the list items, or list elements, or when we want to create a list. So inside of our index, I guess we can create another we can create a div, and inside this div we're gonna be having the rated, or you know what, I guess we can have an aside, because this would make sense to have a side, to use an aside element. And inside here we're gonna have a h3, and we're gonna be top red articles. and then instead of using an OL to make an a UL to make an unordered list, we're gonna have an OL to make an ordered list, and we're basically gonna be creating a list item, and we're gonna say let's just copy and paste this. So this would be the best, or this article will be the best article in the world, or in this case this website. We're gonna add in another list item, and if you guys can see, I didn't type in LI. If you just on your computer on Windows, if you hold Shift and Alt and you just go down on your keyboard, it will duplicate the line. So we're gonna go like that, and if you guys don't want to use your mouse to copy, you can hold Shift and move your arrow keyword to the left, and we're just gonna copy this over here. And if you do Control Alt or Control Shift and go to the left arrow and go like that, you'll be able to do that. Highlight everything. And you guys can see on the side, we have the top read article, or read articles. And yeah, really awesome, right? Alright, now let's move on to a few other things. So we still have this, on our, I'll let you guys do the blog page and the about page by yourselves. But we're going to create a contact page, and we're going to be using a form. So, pages, we're just going to create another page over here. There's going to be a contact.html, and inside of our contact.html, let's just copy everything that we have on this index. Okay, paste it in here. We're gonna delete everything inside of the main. Gonna get rid of this hero and update our title to say contact us. And then we also want to update our index.html, or before we update that, inside of our main tag, let's add in an h2 saying contact us. And inside of our index.html, we just want to update this. So best thing to do is do a // and just type in the link or the URL to where the file is located. In this case, our file is located at the same place as our index.html, and just press enter. And inside of our article, inside of this nav, we want to make sure that, you see, if we do the // it doesn't even show us here. We need to do // in order to go back. So this basically is telling whatever is reading this HTML file to go back a folder, to go back a file, to go back, and whatever is in here, which is going to be the index or the contact page. So if we do / again, you guys can see it says contact or the index HTML, and we just want to do contact. So now we have access to the contact page on our first article. And inside of our contact HTML, we have wrapped this contact us inside of a h2 element, and we want to be able to create a form. Forms are great for contacts or like getting data from a user, and I'll show you what kind of data that we're going to be trying to grab from the user. In order for us to grab data, we would need to have created input elements. But before we do that, for every input, I usually like to create a label. So this first label is going to be name. We want to name it like that. And inside the label, for the attribute of a label, we want to do, I think it's 4. So in this case, 4, and inside the quotes, we want to do for name. We're going to be creating an input, this input is gonna have a type of text, and we can give it a placeholder, enter name, and we want to give it an ID, and it needs to be the same thing as what the label is, name. And if we before we see the result, let's also give it another label. Man, I can't type today. So another label, and this is gonna be for email. We want to be able to grab the user's email, and we want to make sure that the user knows this is an email. And at the same time, instead of giving this for, actually, we can just type in the input inside of this label, like this. So inside of this label, we're gonna have an input, which is gonna have the type of email. We're gonna give it a placeholder, enter email, and you can see automatically it gave us an ID of email. The reason why we want to make sure that why we put an ID is so when the user does submit this form, the values that were placed inside of this input or this input will be the same value that is basically good for storing. So if we didn't have any ID here, we wouldn't really know if this is a name or an email or whatever. Same thing goes here. We wouldn't really know if it's a name or an email. We want to make sure that the ID basically represents the type of data that we're going to be receiving. At the same time, we want this to have a required value, or we want this to have a required attribute, which means that they can't submit the form unless they also add in the email. And not only that, we are going to have a text area. Text area that will have this text area basically means that you'll see is where the user will be able to type. Now we want to give this a width of like let's go 100 pixels and a height of 100 pixels, and ID I guess would be like reason of contact. You guys can see I'm doing camel case. You guys don't have to do camel case. I'm just doing camel case because I'm used to camel case. And then after that, we want to give our form a button. A button. We're gonna put submit inside of our button, and this is gonna be a type. I don't think we need to really give it a type, but I think we'll just give it a type for now. I don't think buttons need a type actually. If you're like me, you will sometimes need to make sure. So submit. So I don't think a button element needs. Oh, actually, wow, they do need a type of submit. Oh, wow. I guess I gotta stop contradicting myself. So let's see what our website looks like so far. Let's just go like that. Open this up. Let's refresh. So this is our cool little goat token blog web page. Cool. Let's read this article a little bit more. Cool. Goat tokenomics, goat use cases. Looks legit. Contact them, and you guys can see that there's a name field. We enter the name, kakapupu, email, let's just say er, and submit. I like this token. And if we click submit, it says please enter an email address. So email, submit, and you guys can see it's submitted. Now inside of our URL, it doesn't really give us anything, which is good. Eventually all of this other stuff is going to be on the back end of this form, which is something that we'll get to in React. But yeah, guys, or even JavaScript, but React most importantly. I'm pretty good with React. But yeah, guys, this is basically it. We'll add in styles and everything else next time. But this is basically HTML5. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Hopefully you guys learned something about HTML. And get ready for tomorrow, because we're going to be moving along to CSS. Thanks for watching. Take care. Good night.